Don't let trauma be your excuse. Before I get into this video, I want to start by acknowledging the sensitivity of the topic of trauma and that I have an awareness, excuse me, that this may be a little bit triggering for some people. And I invite you to stick with it because the message is really, really important and something that I've been considering and thinking about for a long time. And the more people I speak with, the more I see that this message is really needed. So why would I say something like that? Don't let trauma be your excuse. And I'm coming from a place of deep, deep love and respect for wherever you may be in your experiences of recurring trauma patterns and learning how to cope with them. And I am also coming from a place of being on the other side of all of that. And I want you to know that without a doubt in my mind, you will get to the other side. So what I want to start by acknowledging is what I've noticed in the world of trauma healing is, while it's very, very important work, so I'm not discounting that at all, is that it feels like the way I have experienced it, and it may be similar for you, and I know that it's similar for some other people I've talked to about this, is that trauma, a lot of the work and the talk about it is something that is more of like coping with it. How do I cope with it? What are the strategies I can use to make it a little bit easier? What I want you to know is that you can take this process one step further. So what I have come to understand about trauma is, if you imagine like a story. So we're all familiar that we have old stories that we tell ourselves, right? And those stories are on a DVD disc or Blu-ray. And we have inserted those stories into our body, into our nervous system, into our patterning of the relation, or it's basically, for me, what I see it is as a cycle of, or not a cycle, but like a pattern, a movie, a story, you could say, that includes your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. They all are related to each other. So every trauma experience that we may have has emotions that go along with it, along with a belief, the meaning that we make of that experience, and then actions that we take when we believe that and feel those emotions, right? So that's your story. And we created that story. Maybe not totally intentionally, because a lot of times we create it as children and we don't know, we're just trying to survive and trying to make sense of the world. And so we do the best that we can, and our body uses its own wisdom to help us survive, and that's okay. But it's this disc, this story that we've been living in, that's playing over and over again. And we may be able to learn how to cope with the emotions, learn how to be more aware of when these patterns are there or not, so we have more consciousness, more awareness, more capacity to cope. But here's the thing. You can take out that DVD and you can write a new story, and you can put in that new story so that you have a new belief associated with new emotions that are empowering, that help you to take new actions, again, that are empowering. When we remove those old discs, those old stories, those beliefs from our bodies, then we create freedom. Freedom to be who we want to be. Freedom to do the things that we want to do. And here's the thing that I feel about also a lot of the talk about trauma and the coping, is it can keep us in in a place of feeling broken. So we may intellectually understand that we're not actually broken, that we're whole people, but that patterning and the beliefs that we've been living in still make it feel like we're out of control and we're broken and something's wrong, and we just have to keep going through this over and over again until eventually it disappears. What I want you to know is that you can intentionally create a new story and learn how to live that in your life. And in doing that, the coping is less necessary. You start to experience those trauma patterns less and less. So what I want you to really take away from this message is that if you are experiencing patterns of trauma and you are really committed to changing those, that you can. And it's easier and quicker than you think. It doesn't have to take years and years. I mean, some things will take a while to uncover. But when you get the help to really create yourself intentionally, to go beyond coping and move on into creating with intention, with consciousness, that's when you'll really start to see the difference. Thank you so much for listening to this. I know how sensitive it can be, but this message, it really has been on my heart for so long, and it needs to be said. You can get beyond the trauma patterns and you can intentionally create a new story for yourself. So let me know how this feels for you. Let me know if you're seeing the possibility. If you can see the possibility, then you're ready to take the next step to begin creating it. So if that's something you would like to talk about, to explore more of what that possibility would look like and the path there, I am here for you always, always and forever. Reach out. I would love to support you. Okay, sending you all my love.